Hi, friends. We're getting to the end of the school year, and you know I love to read stories to you. So I have two books that I want to share with you today. One is nonfiction, and one is fiction. And as you can see, they're both about frogs, which is what we're learning about in science this week. So for the nonfiction book, the one that's going to tell us true things about real frogs, I'm going to do a thing where I'm going to dip into part of the book and dip out. So I'm just going to read the parts that I think that you're going to find interesting. I'm not going to read it from cover to cover. So that's the cool thing about nonfiction books. You don't have to read the entire thing. So I'm actually going to skip the beginning part of this book. It's called The Tale of a Tadpole. So part of the book talks about the life cycle of a frog. So if you remember some of the things you might have been learning this week, that frogs lay eggs, and out of the eggs come tadpoles, and the tadpoles live in water. So I'm going to go to the part where the egg is already hatched, and it's a tadpole, and it's living in the water. So we go to this page right here in my nonfiction book. It says, many other animals live in the pond. Shiny goldfish and sticklebacks and great diving beetles all live in the pond, and they chase the young tadpoles. So there's a goldfish, there's a stickleback, and there's a beetle. And they're all chasing them because they want to eat them. Look at this. Uh-oh. There's the stickleback. It's a type of fish. A stickleback feels hungry. He opens his mouth wide. The little gray tadpoles wriggle their tails, and they swim away through the water. So they get away from the stickleback. Oh, there's the beetle. A great diving beetle feels hungry too. His hairy back legs beat through the water. The tadpoles escape and hide in the weeds. So you have to really look to find the tadpoles in here. That's how they get away from the beetle. And if you notice that the tadpoles are smaller than the stickleback and the beetle, remember that because it's going to change as the tadpoles grow. So I'm going to skip this part because it's talking about the tadpole grows. We know that. They start to grow a tail. Okay. Let's skip this page. So let's go to this part here just to remind ourselves that half tadpole and half frog. So you see how it's changed from when it was a tadpole. And look at this long tail it still has from when it was a tadpole, but his body part is looking more like a frog. He rests in the sunshine. His tail is shrinking. It gets smaller and smaller. So now he's starting to look more like a grown-up frog. The new little frog sits on a lily pad. So there he is on a lily pad. And he's out of the water. His legs are strong now. He can breathe through his nostrils, just like you and I breathe through nostrils. His skin is dotted with tiny gold spots. And it shows you a close-up of his nostrils so he can breathe air. He doesn't have to live in the water anymore. Frogs must keep their skin slimy. He hops back in the pond and swims for a while. Then he climbs onto a log. Another frog climbs up and sits down beside him. So even though they don't have to live in the water all the time like they did when they were a tadpole, so they still have to go back in the water every once in a while to get their skin wet. Now full grown, he dives through the water. I want you to look at this photograph. There's the frog diving in, and look who's next to him, the stickleback and the beetle. But who's bigger now? The frog is. Oh my gosh, He's not afraid of the stickleback, and he swims past the beetle. So they're not going to try to eat him now. They only try to eat frogs when they're tadpoles. So now I'm going to show you a page that shows us what frogs like to eat. A big frog jumps up and it snatches a fly with its long, sticky tongue. And it has a great photograph to show you how the frog uses that long, sticky tongue to catch the fly. And there's a close-up of it too. The frog misses his meal. Oh, he didn't catch the fly. Next time, he'll be faster. And that's where I'm going to stop the book right there, because I thought you'd be interested to see what animals live in the pond besides a tadpole and which ones like to eat the tadpoles. And then as the tadpole grows up into a frog, what the frog then eats, especially with this cool sticky tongue. So those are true things about frogs that we just read in this nonfiction book. So now I have a story for you about a frog. So this is fiction. This is made up. And it's called A Frog in the Bog. It's a rhyming story. And it's by Karma Wilson and Joan Rankin. Here's the title page, A Frog in the Bog. So see this area around here? That's the bog. It's an area of water. Kind of reminds me of a swamp. There's a frog on the log in the middle of the bog. A small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. So there's the frog. He's sitting on this log. It's halfway in the water. He flicks one tick as it creeps upon a stick. One tick in the belly of a small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of a bog. So he ended up swallowing that tick. Tick is a little bug. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. So there he is still on the log. He sees two fleas as they leap through the reeds. So the reeds are these plants, and you see the fleas. Those are bugs as well. One tick, two fleas in the belly of a frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. So now he has more in his tummy. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. So there he is, still on that log. Pay attention to that log. He spies three flies as they buzz through the skies. What do you think he's going to do with those flies? Oh, if you said eat them, you're right. One tick, two fleas, three flies. Oh my. In the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of a bog. I'm going to guess he grows a little bit bigger. Yep. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He glugs 4 slugs as they slink through the sludge. So here's the slugs. Slugs to me are kind of slimy and wormy like. So now there he's got one in his mouth. Oh, let's see what he has in his tummy now. One tick, two fleas, three flies. Oh my, 4 slugs. Ooh, ugh. In the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. Whoa, look at that tummy. Ready to see the frog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think so. Just a little bit. He inhales 5 snails from their heads to their tails. Oh my gosh. Look at that frog. 1 tick, 2 fleas, 3 flies, oh my, 4 slugs, ew, ugh, and 5 slimy snails in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. What a hog, that frog. Oh my gosh, can you believe the size of his stomach now? I would say he's a hog, which means he likes to eat a lot. Oh, wait till you see this. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. Oh my, he's almost filling that log. Now remember, I told you to pay attention to the log. That log with the frog in the middle of the bog starts to rise. It goes up. And the frog sees eyes. Okay, so now look. There's the log. It's going up. And there's the eyes. Uh-oh, what is it? What's going to happen? And the frog sees claws and a big set of jaws and a mouth like a crater. And the frog screams, "Gator!" So there's the gator. And there's the frog screaming. With his mouth open wide, all the bugs inside start to crawl and fly and to slither and slide. So there they are, still in his tummy, but his mouth is wide open. So now look, out come 5 snails from their heads to their tails. Oh my gosh, they're coming out of the frog's mouth. Ah! 4 slugs, ooh, ugh. 3 flies, oh my. 2 fleas, dear me. There goes the fleas out of his mouth. And 1 tiny tick, ick. So the last bug comes out of his mouth. And right in the middle of his holler, that frog grows a whole lot smaller. So look how small he is now. "See ya later," says the gator as he romps through the swamp, because the itty-bitty frog isn't big enough to chomp. So now he doesn't want to eat that frog since he got small. Now, the bugs in the bog keep away from the frog, and the frog never sits on a half-sunk log. And there's how it ends. And if you look in the picture, there's the log again. You remember what the log turned out to be? An alligator. And the frog, let's see if I can find him in the picture. Oh yes, there he is, staying away from the log. So I hope you enjoyed that story. I had fun reading it to you. So until next time, friends, bye.